Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into some really fascinating source material today.
Yeah. What do we got?
We're looking behind the curtain at a very specific, pretty high-stakes professional world. It's the Tony Love Annual Hair Loss Conference.
Ah, okay. Tony Love. I've heard of this one.
Right. So we've got this stack of articles, agendas, professional notes, all detailing this gathering. And our mission for you listening is to really analyze these materials. We want to figure out why this specific event has earned this reputation.
The premier destination label.
Exactly. The premier destination for pros focusing on hair, scalp, and, well, wellness generally. Why is this the place to be, according to the sources? Let's unpack that.
Okay. Well, the first thing that jumps out looking at this is just the way it's structured. It seems deliberately designed to force interaction between professionals who, usually stay in their own lanes. They're actively merging clinical care with practical aesthetic styling. It's not just a trade show. It feels more like a platform where, I don't know, traditionally separate fields actually meet to solve shared problems for their clients or patients.
And the attendee list really backed that up, doesn't it? It captures that hybrid nature perfectly. When you look at who's actually there, yeah, you've got stylists, barbers, cosmetologists, like the hands-on artistic folks.
The people making things look good day to day.
Right. But they're standing right there, shoulder to shoulder, with some highly specialized scientific minds.
Like the trichologists.
Exactly, trichologists, and maybe we should clarify that term for listeners.
Good idea. They're the specialists, the scientists really, focused on hair and scalp disorders, often the non-surgical side of things.
I mean, even beyond them, the sources mention actual medical professionals attending and presenting. We're talking surgeons, therapy specialists.
Yeah, and we really need to pause on that mix because the scope of that blend, it fundamentally changes the value proposition,
How do you...
Well, think about it. This isn't just a conference where you learn, say, a new braiding technique. And it's also not purely a medical symposium discussing, like, hair graft viability in technical detail.
It's both.
It's both, exactly. It's an environment where a stylist could potentially learn about clinical protocols directly from a surgeon. And maybe that surgeon gains some real practical insight into post-operative aesthetic care from, a master designer.
That makes sense. The sources suggest this convergence is almost driven by necessity.
Yeah, it seems clients today, they don't want fragmented care. If they're dealing with hair loss, they want holistic solutions. And that often needs both medical intervention and really high-level aesthetic management.
So putting everyone in one room.
It might be the only way to really meet that demand. You equip every professional, regardless of their starting point, with the latest insights, training, and inspiration, as the materials put it.
And the lineup of speakers, the actual presenters, reflects that too. You've got skilled hair transplant surgeons, medical therapy specialists. They're delivering complex biological data.
Heavy science stuff.
Yeah, and then maybe the very next session is an award-winning designer or really successful business strategist.
It seems very intentional, like they're trying to develop the professional's whole career, not just their technical skill.
Right, not just their hands. Okay, so now we have a good picture of who is in the room. Let's pivot a bit. Let's talk about the specific knowledge they're actually going there to find, because this is where the content gets really fascinating.
Yeah, the education piece.
The details on the education bridge, that gap we were just talking about between the clinical and the aesthetic.
And the technical education they're offering, it seems to go way beyond just introductory skills. Attendees are looking for advanced knowledge, things like hair restoration techniques.
Which could mean?
Well, it could range from understanding the surgical methods like FUE or FUT, maybe not to perform them, but to consult intelligently, all the way to mastering non-surgical hair replacement systems. And crucially, they're learning about innovative therapies, the latest non-surgical solutions.
Can we get even more specific? Because the sources really highlight the practical application side.
Okay.
They detail hands-on training for skills that seem, maybe at first glance, quite different, but are equally vital. For instance, there's advanced training in wig construction.
Right, and that's not just, putting a wig on a stand.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
This sounds like a meticulous craft, often critical for clients dealing with significant hair loss, maybe from chemo or severe alopecia.
That's a really key point. Wig construction at that level
Yeah.
needs immense precision artistry and often deals with really sensitive client situations. It's a deep craft.
An ancient craft, really.
True. But then, okay, those same attendees might also be learning about cutting-edge technology, like the implementation and the science behind red light therapy.
RLT, okay, talk about that.
Well, red light therapy is a perfect example of this technical balance they seem to be striking. This isn't just some beauty fad. The training is about using photobiomodulation technology. That's low-level light. It's been shown in clinical settings to actually stimulate cellular activity in the scalp, help with hair growth.
So let's the stylist or trichologist offer something more.
Clinical. Exactly. Clinical grade results, sophisticated follow-up care, potentially without needing a full medical license for that specific service. It massively expands their scope of practice.
Wow. So 1 minute you're mastering this incredibly detailed artistic craft for aesthetic and emotional support wig construction. And the next you're learning how to operate and market, a piece of high-tech clinical equipment like an RLT device.
Yeah, it's a huge professional range to cover in one event.
It really is.
And if we connect this training back to the bigger picture, all these specific techniques, right, from the artistry of custom wigs to the science of light therapy, they're not just taught in isolation. The objective seems really explicit in the materials, giving professionals concrete, high-value tools they can use immediately, things to expand their services, make them stand out, and ultimately grow their revenue. It's about transforming them from maybe a general technician into a specialized modern business operator.
Okay, that's a really important connection. And it leads us nicely into this other element that, according to the sources, truly sets this event apart.
What's that?
It's this crucial balance they strike between the technical education, the hard skills we just discussed, and what they call professional empowerment.
Ah, empowerment. Okay.
Yeah, most conferences might load up on the education part, but this event seems to treat the empowerment side as just as important, almost like a necessary counterweight.
And how are they defining empowerment here? It can be a bit of a buzzword.
Well, based on the descriptions, it seems to cover personal growth, definitely leadership training, and practical advice on like navigating your professional identity in this industry that's changing so fast.
That makes sense. They recognize that knowing how to do something complex, like use red light therapy effectively, well, that's only half the battle, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the strategic gap you often see. A stylist might master a fantastic new technique, maybe invest a lot in the equipment.
But then struggle to implement it successfully.
Right. Because they haven't learned how to price it properly or create the right client protocols, maybe liability waivers.
Or how to lead their team, if they have one, to support this new specialized service.
Precisely. They're addressing that soft skills gap head on.
And the business scaling modules mentioned sound essential here.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, the attendee isn't just learning how to, say, perform a new treatment. They're learning strategic business development. Are they talking basic pricing or something more? The sources emphasize scaling, which suggests maybe more advanced topics.
Like what?
Maybe structuring consulting services around their expertise, developing their own educational content, or even planning for multi-location operations. How to grow beyond being just a successful solo practitioner into a scalable business.
Okay, so they're teaching them how to become not just technicians, but entrepreneurs, leaders.
That seems to be the goal.
So for you, the attendee listening, what does this holistic approach really mean?
It means you walk away knowing the complex technical skills, yes. You know how to do that masterful wig construction or how to run an effective RLT program.
Right.
But you also get the confidence, the leadership framework, the strategic vision you need to actually integrate that skill into a growing, sustainable business model.
The combination sounds powerful.
I think this is the key insight, really. This pairing hard technical skills plus soft skills like leadership, business acumen, even personal identity work that's likely the foundation for its premier destination status. It's a recognition that in specialized fields today, real expertise demands both. You need the technical chops and the strategic vision to apply it effectively and keep it going.
They're not just cultivating learners, they're cultivating leaders.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's try and summarize this for you. The Tony Love Annual Hair Loss Conference seems to earn its standout reputation. First, by successfully uniting this incredibly diverse professional base.
Stylists, barbers, trichologists, surgeons, all under one roof.
Right, on one single powerful platform. And second, the educational content is seriously advanced. It blends the latest technical and surgical solutions with practical, hands-on training and skills like advanced wig making and specific device therapies like RLT.
And zooming out a bit, what this model really proves, perhaps for professional development in any field, is that the highest value today might lie in teaching mastery alongside the strategy needed for leadership and sort of personal authority in your space.
Yeah.
We're kind of past the era where just mastering a technique guarantees your career success, aren't we?
Seems like it.
The modern expert maybe has to be the master technician and the strategic marketer and the CEO of their own expertise all at once.
Which leaves us with the final provocative thought for you to maybe mull over.
Okay.
If these specialized, highly technical fields, like hair care and restoration, are finding they rely so heavily on incorporating comprehensive business scaling and personal leadership strategies, what does that suggest about the future definition of expertise in, well, potentially any industry?
Is technical skill alone without that strategic leadership piece becoming kind of obsolete?
Something to think about.
Well,
Leave you with that. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.